I go to Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. As a servant to the people of Queensland and Australia, I know that some constituents spend many, many years and many tens of thousands of dollars, well over $100,000, seeking custody through parenting orders from the family court. Yet when they leave the court, the other party breaches those orders and withholds access to those precious children. So that's shared care through shared costs for care, yet one party is forcing the other party to pay huge legal fees and child support costs while denying access. Worse, if the court orders 50-50 custody, yet one parent withholds access, that party can truthfully say they have 100% custody despite breaching court orders, and the child support system will force the other parent to pay more accordingly. Mr Acting Deputy President, the child support system, as it stands, rewards parents financially for breaking court orders. Even worse, the child support system can deem a parent to pay more than their actual income because of the capacity to earn clause, the clause known as capacity to earn. For example, if a parent on a fly-in, fly-out contract with a mining site is earning $150,000 or more, and that contract ends, and he finds another job at a lower pay, he is deemed to be capable of earning $150,000, and child support payments are levied higher. That parent loses his kids, access to his kids, loses huge amounts of money, and when forced to sell assets to pay for child support, he spirals downward. That parent's mental health deteriorates. He finds it difficult to keep his job, and above all, he can't see his children because the other parent is breaching orders with impunity. Restricting access to children and forcing people to pay more than they can is abusive. It is a form of emotional violence that can lead to suicide, and it is the children who suffer more. For the sake of the parents, and especially the children, we must fix this. And Mr Acting Deputy President, I just want to point out that it's not this alone that is hurting parents, and especially children. It is the interaction and the confusion that enables children, or that requires children sometimes to become a weapon, and in so doing a casualty. It is the children who get hurt. There are lack of consequences in the family law court system on people who tell lies and make false claims. They don't have to fess up. There's the interaction of state and federal laws. This is very confusing for people to wind themselves through. There is custody of child and access of child, of course. Then there's domestic violence claims, which sometimes are false. Then there's a settlement issue on property. There's abuse of the law. There's legal game playing. And then, of course, Mr Acting Deputy President, there is money grabbing from lawyers, money grabbing from some parents, and then there is an emotional issue for everyone. There are long-term consequences. And there are many more people affected than just the two parents and the children. There are grandparents and communities. So this is not a simple issue. We raise it, and we thank the Senate for the support in speaking about it today. But it is an issue that must be tackled, and it's starting with child custody and especially with the family law court. I want to give people an idea of just how deeply damaging this can be. I had a tour recently of the Australian Brotherhood of Fathers facilities, an entirely voluntary operation in Southport, Queensland, south of Brisbane. And Leith Erickson, the founder, gave me the tour himself and gave a number of our staff a tour. Leith took us in, told us about the start of the Australian Brotherhood of Fathers, or the predecessor. He used to turn up at courts to help men and women, mothers and fathers, through the court procedure. And then he realised there was a big gap in services provided to people. And then he started helping people in various aspects. He now has a building that has a call centre manned entirely by volunteers. And what's more, it is manned by people who have been through the process, so they understand. These are not consultants, these are not telemarketers, these are not call centre people. These are people who've been through the mill of the destructive family law court system and child custody services system. And so Leith has people there manning the phones for people to call in and get advice on how to approach situations. He also has now set up his Australian Brotherhood of Fathers, which also helps mothers. It's gender neutral. They also have a facility there for supervised child contact, and that means that people who have to have supervised contact can get access to these facilities, very safe facilities, at a much lower cost than standard. So that's yet another cost that some parents have to fork out to pay for someone to watch them having an interaction with their own kids. Then there are facilities for older people. Then there are counsellors who are given space in that centre for counselling. Then there are other facilities there that complete the gamut. There are legal services there that enable people to access lawyers at a much reduced rate, or at a fair rate, and knowing that those lawyers are going to be on their side and not just in it for the money. So this is a very, very complex thing. Lives have been ruined by this, and I'm so pleased to see that the Senate can see this and supporting this matter of public urgency today. Mr Acting Deputy President, I have no more to say other than thank you, and our thoughts to all mothers and fathers who are going through this very, very difficult time, and grandparents.
Well, thank you, Senator Roberts.